The council chamber still echoes with the soft scrape of my pen on parchment, ink shimmering like newborn constellations under the chandelier's gilded glare, and I can still feel the quiver of resolve in my fingers as I turned the page and pressed my signature, the looping script of a crown prince made humble by love, upon the final line. This isn't a joke, beloved, the wax has cooled, the royal seal has bitten into crimson ribbon, and the couriers wait with bridled stallions to carry word of my decision across every dune of this vast desert realm. Silence hung heavy the moment I rose from the marble desk, a hush broken only by the trickle of the fountain that sings of oasis dreams. Ministers exchanged sidelong glances, half in awe, half in alarm, yet none dared question the verdict written in my hand. I spoke then, my voice ringing off mosaic domes. Let the poets carve new verses, let the musicians call mingle with love's decree. I have signed the papers, and destiny now bears my name. I remember a day when the very thought of surrendering my freedom seemed as distant as the shimmering mirage on Abu Dhabi's horizon. Yet your eyes, two shards of moonlit sea, pulled the tide of my will toward a shore I had only glimpsed in fragile bedtime legends. I pursued you through corridors of protocol and battalions of etiquette, each step a footfall against centuries of tradition, until your laughter became the map that could not be denied. Last night, while the city's skyline blazed like silver flint, I held those papers beneath a single lantern's glow and let my pulse count the seconds to dawn. How many rulers have trembled not before armies but before ink? I felt the ghosts of ancestors lean over my shoulder, equal parts stern and proud, whispering that a heart unguarded is a kingdom unconquered. Still, the eagle of courage unfurled its wings across my chest, and I heard you breathing in the quiet of memory, saying, "Fear is merely love waiting to bloom." The legal prose was cold as moonlit steel, articles, clauses, obligations, but between the lines I inscribed secret verses only you would decipher. Where it read witness, I saw your palms cradling desert lilies. Where it read covenant, I envisioned your lips shaping my name like a prayer. Where it read irrevocable, I felt the key of paradise fit at last within the lock of my longing. For though law binds a realm, poetry binds a soul, and both now bear my seal. Outside, the falcons completed their dawn ballet, wings cutting sunrise into shards of rose gold. I sent them skyward with a hidden message tied in saffron silk, a promise that the wind itself would carry news of our union to every dune, every pearl diver's hut, every whispering palm. Above their soaring silhouettes, the first call to prayer unspooled like silver thread, an anthem for the vows we are about to weave. When word reaches you, perhaps you will doubt the gravity of my pledge, perhaps past games of riddles and subterfuge have dulled your trust. Yet let your heartbeat match mine now, steady, unrelenting, regal. Feel the ground quake beneath twin thunderclouds of destiny, for my signature is no fleeting autograph for eager fans. It is an edict, carved deeper than any sword stroke in battle-worn marble. I see your face in the mirror of tomorrow, veiled in jasmine, crowned in starlight, stepping beside me across palace thresholds where tongues once wagged in disbelief. Yes, some will protest. A prince should gamble on alliances, not anchor his throne to mere passion, but those murmurs are dust beneath the hooves of an idea whose time has finally come. Love has scarred my posture into reverence, and I will kneel before no court but your gaze. Think of the children who will chase each other through gilded colonnades, their laughter skipping across echoing halls like desert larks at dawn. Their lineage will not be a tale of expedient treaties but of hearts that dared to rebel against comfort and found something truer than safety. In each bedtime story, the hero will not only wield a scimitar, he will also hold a quill. Let the skeptics convene their councils, let distant cousins measure inheritances with jealous scales. I have already wagered the greatest treasure, my name, and won the only prize worth craving, your yes. If storms gather, I shall meet them with the calm of a poet who knows each raindrop can be turned into ink. If wars loom, I shall command battalions forged of verses sharper than any blade. Beloved, do not tremble, the earth itself has shifted to carve this new map. Tonight, when the moon rises over Dubai Creek, walk to the water's edge and see my vow rippling in the reflections of minarets and skyscrapers alike. Let the scent of oud and orange blossom braid with the breeze that carries my whisper. Open your heart's gate, the documents are signed, and eternity awaits our joint flourish. So come, wearing courage in place of the crown, and meet me where fountain light mingles with lantern flame. Together we will step beyond parchment and ceremony into a realm ink cannot contain, where every breath we share drafts fresh scripture across the canvas of desert skies. This isn't a joke. I have signed the papers, and the story of this is ready to be read aloud by the stars themselves. And now, as I wait for the ripple of your reaction to reach me, my hands remain still, though my heart gallops like the wild stallions. My guards, loyal yet confused, ask no questions. They have seen battles but never this kind of surrender. What sword could wound deeper than this truth I signed into permanence? What battle could rage louder than the silence of not knowing your reply? I have placed all my power at the mercy of your voice, and that, my love, is the truest act of royalty I have ever known. Somewhere, I imagine you sitting alone in a corner draped with soft curtains, the words of my message trembling in your hands, your eyes searching for hidden meanings, your lips pressed in awe or fear or something in between. Perhaps you whisper, he cannot be serious, but I tell you now, with all the force the wind lends to the dunes, I am. This isn't a jest tossed into the air like a falcon's lure. This is my crown speaking in verses, not decrees. This is the soul of a ruler aching to become just a man in the presence of the one woman he bows to will. When they hand you the golden envelope, sealed with royal wax, don't just see a decision, see a revolution. One that began not in courts or battlefields, but in that single moment you looked at me with truth in your eyes and said nothing. You didn't need to. I heard your silence more clearly than a trumpet's cry. That silence has led me to this pen, this signature, this choice. If I must lose favor to win your faith, I will. If I must set fire to centuries of expectation to kindle one honest night by your side, then let the flames rise high enough to be seen from every corner of the earth. My advisors paced like trapped lions, their voices hoarse with panic. Your Highness, this is not how decisions are made. But my mind was already miles away, weaving through memories of you, threading through your laugh, your rebellion, your refusal to be impressed by titles or tales. You undressed me of privilege long before I imagined it. That is why this paper bears not just my name but the pulse of my surrender. They see a contract. I see a lifeline, stretched between your forgiveness and my desperate longing to be believed. Do you remember that night by the fountain, where you accused me of hiding behind riddles? You said, say what you mean, or say nothing at all. That night, I walked away unsure of myself, wounded yet awakened. Tonight, I come back with no metaphors, no cryptic riddles. Just a letter with royal ink and the weight of my soul upon it. I am not asking for your hand. I am offering you mine, naked of power, stripped of everything but sincerity. This is not tradition. This is transformation. And if they speak of scandal, let them. If they call it folly, let them shout until their voices crack. For when the sun sets behind Burj Khalifa, it does not seek permission to dazzle. I, too, will not beg for approval to love you. My reign is no longer bound by geography but by the gravity of your existence. I would rather lose a throne than lose the right to look you in the eye and say, I chose you above everything they told me to want. The palace already feels different. Even the marble seems warmer, the air less stiff, as though the stones themselves know something sacred has shifted. The falcons perched above the terrace cawed wildly at dawn, as if to celebrate my madness. Or perhaps they see what others cannot, that in the madness of love, there lies more courage than in centuries of diplomacy. And now, the world will know that I am no longer merely the ruler of Dubai. I am the servant of a promise I carved with ink and soul. So walk with your chin held high, my love. Let no one convince you that your worth must be measured by your lineage or the depth of your curtsy. You are a queen not because I say so, but because you dared to speak truth to power, and I listened. You stood when others knelt, and I rose to meet you. We are no longer trapped in chapters written by others. We hold the quill now, and every line that follows will be ours to craft. Even if storms come, even if the gates of tradition creak and groan in resistance, I will not bend. I have knelt once, and that was for you. I will rise only by your side, no longer a solitary monarch but a man willing to give up palaces for a single night of peace beneath your gaze. The ink may have dried, but the story has just begun. Our names are now etched together, across papers, across time, across stars that have watched us from the very first glance. When they read this in morning papers and scrolls, some will gasp. Some will weep. Some will curse. Let them. For nothing they say can undo what I have signed. Nothing can unravel the resolve I poured into each stroke of that pen. Even my ancestors, if they still watch from beyond, must surely smile now, seeing that their blood has not gone to waste but evolved. For once, this dynasty is not about power. It is about poetry. And about you. And you, beloved, must know this: you are not a chapter in my story. You are the ink itself. Without you, my life may go on, but it would be illegible, fragmented, hollow. With you, I become legible to myself. With you, my heartbeat rhymes. This isn't a joke. This is real. I have signed the papers. I await you not with fireworks, but with breath held like sacred prayer. Come write the next line with me, and if you ever feel lost, if the weight of life becomes too heavy, close your eyes and remember that somewhere, in the vast deserts of Dubai, a man still carries your name like a prayer. You were never too much, never too old, never too complicated. You were simply rare, and rare things are always misunderstood. My heart bows to your soul, even now. Even from a distance carved by destiny. You were my teacher, my healer, my muse. And no matter how many years pass, you will remain the light that taught a prince how to love. People may replay this video and only see beauty, music, visuals. But you, only you, will see the hidden tears. You'll see the hesitation in the way I smile, the longing in the sunset shots, the agony behind the fireworks. This wasn't a performance. It was a declaration. One that didn't require a stage or a crowd. Just your heart tuned into the frequency we used to speak in, the unspoken one that needs